So you going to
Right
Canada?
north. Yeah, I'm going to Canada to do doing a bike ride along the St. Lawrence.
Oh!
It's supposed to go from all the way to Ottawa, from Ottawa to Quebec City.
Is that tomorrow?
Starts tomorrow. Yeah.
You're going to do it all one day?
No, can't do it in a day. Probably take probably 3 days.
Honestly, I don't really have any idea how far it is. Quebec City's quite a ways away, I think.
It is about. I think it's about 630 miles, something like that, for the whole trip back and forth.
Well, you're coming back too.
Yeah. This is my only 6 miles in to the Coureur de Bois, which is a 1,000-kilometer ride that goes from East Ottawa over to the north side of Montreal and Laval and onto Quebec City. Basically, it follows the Ottawa River. It follows the Ottawa River to that area north of Montreal, and follows the St. Lawrence all the way to Quebec City. No one's doing this ride. It's just me, as far as I know. Someone else had been registered to ride it, and I heard from that person yesterday. But at the start, we waited a bit, and no show. Maybe he's just running late. I don't know. Neither I nor the RBA had access to email. I'm up here in Canada where my cell phone service doesn't work, and he apparently doesn't have a data plan on his cell phone, so he couldn't check his email, which I thought was interesting. So I'm just picking my way out away from Ottawa itself. The Ottawa River is on my left, so I can hardly see it. It's over there, just beyond the trees. I suspect that's going to be how it is for quite a lot of the ride, is I'll be near but not on the river. Well, we've hardly even started, and we've got a sort of a big problem here, in that I'm supposed to go straight and it's all closed off, and there really doesn't look like you're supposed to go there. I think it's okay. Yeah, we'll be alright here. Breaking the law, breaking the law. Ta-da! I don't know if you can see that fog, but fog is from the river, I presume. Things are starting to burn off a little bit. So I feel a little bad about leaving early, but I've never done a 1,000-kilometer ride, and I think I can do this fine, but I wanted to make sure I had every minute I needed. So hopefully Maybe, who knows, maybe down the road we'll meet up. Get a little bit of climbing to get away from the river. Now I'm up on Willhaven Drive. I think I'll be at cruising altitude here for about 6 miles or so. So the strategy here is again to take it pretty steady and easy, and eat and drink a lot. It's supposed to be great weather. I always say that, and then something happens, but you know, 50s, 60s, 70s. So that's pretty good for cycling. And I don't see any rain in the forecast. That could always change, but it's pretty. I'm going with that powdered drink mix again. I'm worried a little bit about coming across the border with it, so I put it in little pre-portioned bags. Bunch of white powder in pre-portioned bags, mostly sugar I guess, but no one asked me any questions, so I didn't give any answers. There's the sun. So today, because this is a 75-hour time limit, basically 3 days, right? I think the approach I've got, and seems like the approach other people have taken, is to make it to Trois Rivières, 3 rivers, the first night. Stay there. That's like a 300K. Get that done, get a good night's sleep. Next day go to Quebec City, take the ferry across, and come back to basically right across the river from where you stayed the night before. I'm staying in the hotel that's marked as the control, Hotel 55, something like that, and in a town called St. Greg's. And then the final day, it's kind of a longer day, I think. You make it all the way back to Ottawa, and I think the trick here is that I think, looking at the route, it looks like there's some pretty quiet stretches out there, so bring a lot of stuff with you. So I have with me my big boxy rando bag and my Paradise Nelson long flat. I have a rear saddlebag full of stuff too, mostly clothes and food. Very little going on here in parts. I didn't even bring a spare tire, which I have been for all my rides. Didn't need it. I don't know. I may regret that, but you know, I think I'm trusting in my ability to find issues and fix them more than I did. Maybe that one day where I had so many flats was just a crazy anomaly. Every time I mention I want to bring a spare tire, people kind of looked at me like, what you talking about? I don't know. Not many people do what we're doing here, so maybe that's expected. But anyway, I'm rolling light in equipment but heavy in food and clothes. I noticed a lot of these long rides need abbreviations like LEL, NYM, NY. This one should be OQO, Ottawa, Quebec City, Ottawa, but it's Coureur de Bois. That's unfair. Now I'm coming right along the river. I don't know if you can see it. This little peak. So we're rolling along the Ottawa River here. Ottawa. Rivière des Ottawa. And just, this is someone's lawn. Mostly, I'm looking at people's houses. But every once in a while you get a really nice view of the river. I guess those foothills are the foothills to the, I guess, the Laurentian Mountains. There's more wheel saga. This bike is the quietest I think it's ever been. I got a hunch to start looking deeper inside the wheel, the rear wheel, that had very loose spokes at one point, apparently. I ended up lubricating all the places the spokes touched the rim, and spokes touched the nipples, and the spokes touched the hub in order to get rid of it, and it went away. The noise went away, but it came back again. So I noticed again there was a little rust color on the hub. I was like, what's inside there? Never had to service a free hub, and well, this is a Velo Orange free hub, a 9-speed free hub, and they had just posted a video about how to do it. Oh, it's very easy. So I took it apart, and the thing was bone dry, not any lubrication on it, and everything was rusty. I was like, oh no. So a little WD-40 and a rag cleaned everything up and put it back together. It was a lot quieter, and I still had some concerns about the way the pawls were working, so I emailed them. They sent me all new, all 3 pawls and a little clip spring. Stupid easy to service this wheel, and it's working really well now. Very happy with it. Anyway, glad to have that mystery somewhat resolved before doing 1000K. Going down Route 17 here. Saw a sign advertising it as the cyclo route. Must be commonly used. Still kind of paralleling the Ottawa River. Not too far away from the first control, or the second control, depends how you count. The town of my first control, my first stop. The river's over there. It's kind of lost in that field. It actually looks smaller here than it did upriver, which doesn't make much sense. Well, this was the first control. This little restaurant, very friendly in there. Moving on, this is Plantagenet. So I was worried about speaking with people, but so far no problems. People understand you. I asked the RBA at the start, I'm like, hey, how do you say may I fill my water bottle in French? So I looked it up, and I thought I sort of knew, but I wanted some confirmation. He's like, actually, I don't know. I don't know. He lives in Ottawa, but he's from Ontario. He's from Toronto, but he's lived in Ottawa for 20 years, but he's not very fluent in French. And I guess he doesn't have any problems, so I don't anticipate any either. This whole area smells like a dead animal. I don't know why. It's been like miles and miles, and I don't see any dead animals, but God, just smells like something died here. What is it? I think I found it. Smells like a chicken farm. I think I figured it out. It's this chicken farm. It's smelling. I think it's a chicken farm. That's what they kind of look like to me. Gosh, what a smell. Going down the road and saw this little setup. It says bienvenue aux cyclistes. Someone set up a little picnic area for bikers and marked it with a bike. Oh, what hospitality. The river's right over there. Barely see it, but it's just beyond those trees. See it over there. If you like riding along a river, I guess I couldn't think of a nicer ride. It's not flat. It's not like I'm going just totally flat. It's like 1s and 2% and an occasional 3 and 4. Enough to keep it interesting, a little spicy. No hard climbs yet. I don't know if there's any hard climbs in this ride. What we kind of don't do is go up into those hills. We specifically don't do that on this ride. The river's really wide here. It's like a lake. Very, very pretty. Crossing over into Quebec with the John Street Bridge, which is this one right here, going over the Rivière des Ottawa, I guess. Here we go.
In 3/4 miles, turn right.
So over there, across the bridge that direction, is Ontario. Here's the Ottawa River, and here's this monument. I spoke to someone in the little inn over here. They said it's the college, the local college, I guess the Boreal College, or College Boreal. It's just a welcome, an open hands welcome to people, saying we're open to everybody. That's a nice little entrance to Quebec. Back on the road. The Long Sault Bridge. Over the Ottawa River. Here's a bike route made just for riding bikes. Or this road with no shoulder. This is the route over here, not that over there. I'm gonna do it, but yeesh. I mean, if it's a flat, I don't know what's wrong with that. I don't know what's wrong with that path. I guess I don't usually like paths, but that sure looks nice. Oh well, straight on. Yep, I was right. Apparently people don't want you to ride on this. This is the route, but I just got yelled at for the first time today. Probably won't be the last time, but it was in French. That kind of sounded nice. I usually get all mad and want to provide gestures back, but that seemed charming. Darn motorcycles ruining my fun. So this canal has a lock that's a 65-foot drop. It's the biggest in Canada. La patata des Ottawa. It's fries. Well, he started 45 minutes after me. He had a big breakfast, and then he caught up to me. So there you go. He's in the game. And there he goes. Well, that's the second control. Got some croissant and some iced coffee, and we're ready to get moving again. So my riding buddy here says those are the foothills to the Laurentian Mountains. And I guess they only get to about 3,000 feet tall, he says. They're the oldest mountains in the world. And they've been scrubbed up by the great glaciers, so they're pretty short. But all Canadian shield granite. Kind of a neat geographic thing of this area. I think I'm north of Montreal a bit. We're about 177 kilometers that control. Regis seems to be pretty fluent in French. Helped me navigate a tricky iced coffee situation in Tim Hortons. So that was good. I had a couple more croissant. I'm gonna be probably sick of croissant. I better shake it up. But I'm feeling good, nutrition wise. These drinks, some pieces of fruit, all that worked pretty good. I left a little bit before Regis left the Tim Hortons. He was nursing a brain freeze quality iced coffee. He'll probably be flying up behind me any moment now. But he said, go on ahead, which I did. Another little thing I've had to do to the bike seems to be working. We're about 211 kilometers in, so seems like this fix has worked okay. The tension pin on my B17 broke, and nobody had a spare one or a replacement pin. You could probably send away for it from England, but I didn't want to do that. And I found on the internet people are just using I think it's an M8 bolt and a nut. I threw an extra washer in there, and that works fine. You got to use an Allen wrench in the front. It doesn't self-lock, but it puts the pressure on the saddle, tension on the leather, and also put a little bit of lubricant on the back of the saddle where it was squeaking against the rear rail with all the rivets. The leather was squeaking against that every time I did anything. And it's really quiet right now, so hopefully that bolt serves well as a pin for a while. But that's something you could just go down to any hardware store and buy. I might just have a couple of those around just to make sure that I have a way to fix it if it breaks on the road again. Got me in 25 or so I swear I looked behind me 1 second ago and he wasn't there. And then whoosh, he comes up behind me. The roads leave something to be desired. This one's okay. But I imagine as the winter times up here gets really cold, they're just buckling all the pavement up, and some of them are in really sad shape. And you're picking your line through this, down these roads. Riding it at night, I don't know, would pose a little additional concern, because you got to see all these potholes really well, because they're rim breakers, rim benders, tube poppers. That looks fun. That's my next hobby. Time to bust out the stuff. Sun's going down. It might be a little early, but yeah, cost me nothing to put them on. Gotta have the ankle bracelets. Right. Easy peasy. Regulation and safety. About to show up at the next control. I turn here. Looking for a little coffee shop in here somewhere. I think I just turned on to QC 158. That says, the Q sheet says it's 256 kilometers of this ride so far. So that windsock tells the story. Pretty quiet. It's kind of cool little airport there. Pretty good first day. I didn't kill myself. Regis, you know, after he passed me, I never saw him again. I suspect that's going to be how it goes. Unless he really sleeps in, because he mentioned he didn't get a good night's sleep last night. Maybe he'll sleep in knowing he can fly like a rocket when he wakes up. I might see him again, who knows. But this is my ride, not his ride. That's the mindset to take. I could feel it, like riding with him. I was like, yeah, see if I can keep up a little bit. It's a terrible idea. Don't do it. Ride your ride. Well, there goes the sun. Yep, it's pretty nice. That's showing up on the camera. In St. Cuthbert. Pretty church over there. You can't see it probably. Nothing's open. Pretty tricky to get a bottle of water here. Or a refill. I was sort of pleasantly surprised at how quick they got me into bed, but unpleasantly surprised by the state of that shower. What a pain. I actually probably messed around for an extra, I don't know, 15, 30 minutes playing with the shower trying to get one. And I thought, there's no way in heck, if I call them up, that they're gonna send somebody up in a jiffy and fix the shower. Forget it. Everyone's understaffed, like everywhere. So, I understand, yet, blah, unhappy. Hi. Crossing the river here in Three Rivers. that is the St. Lawrence out there, and this is the other river that comes in. I guess this town has a good industrial history, being all these streams coming out of the Laurentians, a lot of mills and industry along the river. Someday I'll come back and see you, but today I gotta go. Nice and quiet. Gotta make some time here. Don't feel like I'm $1,000,000 at the moment, but hopefully that'll change with a little bit of time. Get my legs under me. So far this is the most woodsy part of the ride. With a name like Coureur de Bois, I expected more of this, but this is really nice on the way to St. Stanislaus. $147 miles. I'd go like 20 miles to get a sandwich. Not sure where Regis is. He left early or he's behind me, I'm not sure. But this little microwave sandwich is a godsend. It's popping gels and stuff to keep the energy up. Some hills up in here, not terrible, but you notice them in my body from the night before. I know it's just been like digesting and processing all that sugar I've been eating, but there's nothing in the tank when you wake up. What I was kind of dreaming of was a big stack of pancakes with maple syrup. Doesn't think that's going to happen though. Unless it's up in St. Stanislaus. But from what I remember on the map, not a whole lot there. And it's Sunday morning. There's a couple old guys in the Ultramar convenience store where I'm at here, sipping coffee. This is their local spot. This area is really pretty. It reminds me, of course it would, a little bit of the Adirondacks. It's all formed of, you know, the Canadian Shield stuff. As you get up into these foothills, you really see it. All the lichen looks familiar. Some hobble bush here and there. And just the forest, you know. Maples and beech and red pine and eastern white pine, gray birch. All the hits. That's going to take me some distance. That's good stuff. Des Anvil. Entering St. Stanislaus here. This is the next control. What a nice ride this morning. Little low on fuel, but that was remedied at the convenience store I think I'm late for this control. I don't know how that's really possible, given that I was up at 4, out the door at 5. Actually, I was up about 4:20, out the door at 5, and doing okay in speed. Certainly not going to break the course record, but yeah, I think it's maybe that's calculated wrong. Seems awfully short amount of time given to make it all the way up here. Not sure. Sometimes they, you know, kind of get a little lax on the intermediate controls as long as you finish. So I guess that's what I'm hoping for. Controls right up here. Just turned around. Regis just came in. He slept a little longer than I did. I was worried about me making this control. He says that he also thinks that the timing's not quite right on the brevet card, and he doesn't think it's a big deal. So yeah, I don't think it's a big deal either. Some RBAs are sticklers, and some RBAs say as long as you finish up in time, you're good. The beautiful river here in St. Stanislaus. Alright, this is something you probably can't see, but I can. It's a great view down the hill to the St. Lawrence. This is not going to come out. Well, that's about the max I can zoom here. But right up on that horizon is the St. Lawrence. A number of islands. I'm going to have to check on a map to see what that is. That's pretty cool. This is the first thing that looks like a descent in the whole ride, I'd say. Down off this foothill, back down towards the river, I guess. Yep. Striped maple, hobble bush. This looks like Adirondack-y boreal forest stuff. It's really pretty. So, efficiency while doing these rides is kind of key. Now, I like to be in and out of controls. I tend to like to eat on the bike when I can. I do plenty of that. I can eat a sandwich or a sub while riding. Okay, minimal mess. But one of the things I've never been able to do is apply, well, I've applied sunscreen on the bike. I can reach behind me and grab that tube of sunscreen and put it out while I ride no hands. What I've never been able to do, or nor have I attempted. I'm curious to see who else does this, but I was able to. It's kind of next level, I think. Putting on chamois cream while you ride. I'm not saying I got an even coat or that it was particularly graceful, but the job is done and the wheels are turning. And I think that's one of these PvP tips you don't hear about a lot. I think that might be one to put in your repertoire. So the key to this maneuver is hand control, finger control. You don't want to apply a giant glob to your palm to do this. Instead, what you're looking to do is get, I don't know, a quarter size dollop right at the end of your fingers of your dominant hand. Because what you're going to do is you're going to, well, first of all, if you do put it on your, so if you do put it on your palm, and if you have any sort of paunch like me, and particularly if you're wearing bibs, what you'll probably end up doing is lubricating your belly, and that's not the goal. What you're trying to do is deliver the cream to the target area. For me, I mean, TMI maybe, but you know, there's a certain part of your anatomy that gets chafing. You know where it is for you. You don't have to worry about where it is for me, but it's not my belly. So what you want to do is, after you've put a small amount on your fingertips, is you want to put the shields up, right? You're going to curl those fingers and protect it. And then you know, you gingerly slide your hand down your bibs or shorts, and don't uncurl those fingers until you're in the right area, and then you can uncurl and apply. Now, I recommend doing this in an area of your route that isn't populated. I'm going through a lot of agricultural fields. The cows don't care, the corn doesn't care. It's fine. But, you know, socially, probably not regarded. I never see anyone doing it. I imagine now that this tips out in the wild, more people will be interested in doing it. What's going on? So, milk truck in my way. If you're out with close acquaintances, you know, maybe your closest buds, I don't know, depends how you get on with them. I don't think my closest buds would be down with it, but maybe you got different kinds of buds. Couples, significant others, you know, probably if you have that kind of an understanding, you could probably get away with it. But you probably wouldn't want to do it in mixed company of people you weren't very close with. I think I'm going to be suspicious if anyone drops back now. If I'm riding in a group, someone drops back, I'm going to suspect they're doing a little maintenance, you know, discreetly. So my hotel room was upstairs in this inexpensive hotel in Trois-Rivières, and I had to lift my bike and carry it upstairs, which I did. I'm not a wimp, I was able to do it. But I had to chuckle because this bike is the Ford Explorer of bikes. It's heavy. It's a beast. It is not a lightweight gravel bike situation. And I was looking at my fancy tires with their super thin casings. I was like, you know, something's not right here with my waxed canvas bags, double top tube. It's not thick, it's not thin tubing on this bike. it's gonna last forever unless I get in an accident. But it's kind of like a mismatch a little bit. These to try to save the weight. And again, I'm thinking about, you know, going with a marathon or something a little more robust. Knock on wood, I haven't had a flat here on this ride yet. But, you know, just one of these things, like what? I bought a bike that's sturdy. I bought bags that are sturdy. Then I've got these ultra light tires. Like, what the heck am I doing? Doesn't make sense. Well, this is a beautiful river. I don't know what it is. I'm on QC 354 East. I'll look it up later. The water looks dark but clean. Got all those tannins. Very pretty. I love this kind of river. Of all the rivers, this is the kind of river I like the most. It's ridiculous. I could just take pictures of the water all day. And I know when I go back and I look at these, it's going to be like water, 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 water. It's all the same. But, God, I am drawn to this sort of thing. Following this river for miles and miles. So I looked it up. It's the St. Anne River. Rivière St. Anne. And it's just a sparkly, rocky, dark beauty. I love it. What a pretty little town. Still on the St. Anne's. The St. Casimir is the river. There's the St. Anne. Fake ship on the point called Notre Dame. More of the St. Anne River from the other side. Alright, we're back on the St. Lawrence. There's a lot of downhill with a tailwind, which was pretty beautiful. And I think, if I'm looking at these waves right, I'm getting a little benefit of a tailwind again. It is my lucky day. Pretty great day for, it's my lucky day. Got a tailwind heading into Quebec City, which everywhere on signs is just called Quebec. I think we're about 446 kilometers in. So a few more hours along here till we get to the ferry. But I think we're mostly sticking to this. Ooh, we got a big ship coming through. You can see that? I don't know if you can see that. Big ship coming up the river. There's a ship out there. They show. How would you say it? Right along the river. See these aluminum roofs, the scalloping. I think I've seen that before. Seems to be a thing here. Local bike club. Zigging along here. Rivière Jacques Cartier. River. Coming into Donnacona, here's the control. Alright, after that hill, I got to Donnacona. I think that's how you say it. I don't know how you say it. That's how I'm saying it because I don't know. I'm here at a Subway and I'm going to grab something, sit down, enjoy some AC, and really chow down. I need it. I ended up going to McDonald's. It was too busy in Subway. It was way too busy in Subway. There was a line out the door and one kid making sandwiches. So I was like, that's not gonna work. We need to go industrial. So I went to McDonald's, which is, if nothing else, is fast. There's a huge amount of people in there, but zoom, you're out. And I got McPoutine, which, my gosh, if it's not healthy, it sure is good, fatty, salty, cheesy food, which just felt perfect after this morning. That was a good lunch. McDonald's was a good lunch. Salty and fatty and all the things I need. Filled up the bottles, all that. Regis showed up as I left because he was having a hard time with his stomach or getting food in or something. So he was flagging. But I don't know if I'll see him again because it's about 30 miles to the ferry. Pretty much all on this kind of boring road. I think it's gonna be, I mean, it's along the river, that's nice. But it's kind of, you're exposed. It's kind of a fast moving road. The speed limit of 90 kilometers. And yeah. He's gonna meet up with some folks and I don't know if I'll see him. I'm gonna get on the ferry and motor. And he's gonna take a little while. So he's probably gonna get done late tonight, unless he just flies, I don't know. Maybe he'll find a big second wind. But next stop is the ferry in Quebec City and the beginning of the return trip. All these puffy white clouds. And over here, something else is afoot. They weren't calling for any rain. I swear I feel a little cold breeze coming out of them though. So I brought a rain jacket. So do I want it to rain? No, but I'm ready. Don't bring it on. Jumped off that busy road. We're gonna go down a beautiful little road. Chemin du Roi. This is gonna descend right down to the river. We're pretty far up above it, several hundred feet anyway. So we're gonna go down the river that's down there. This should be nice. A neat little. This is way better than the highway. Got us going down a little bike path along the river here. Starting to see some bridges and stuff here. I think we're seeing some tides too on the river. Possibly, maybe. Squeaky brakes. Quebec City. Regis is back there. Yeah. He's telling me the rest is going to be flat. We'll see. I think I've seen that movie, but I can't think of what it's called.
Yeah,
A Hitchcock film set here.
canceled the marathon and they put us all on the half. And so it was the easiest half I've ever done because I trained for a full marathon. So it was like, fuck.
Nailed it. Pulled in right as the ferry was loading. Let's go upstairs. Guess you can see the castle. What a thing. This is the only walled-in city in North America.
Pictogrammes vert et blanc indiquant un gilet de sauvetage. Repérez les postes de rassemblement indiqués par des pictogrammes verts et blancs illustrant un groupe de personnes pointées par 4 flèches.
We're going down a bike path here in Levis. Quebec City is on the other side. You can really see the walled city part of it. It's pretty amazing. It's really interesting and distinct here. Okay, we're going back to Trois-Rivières, or on the other side of the river from it, to St. Gregoire. Probably gonna get there 1 o'clock, something like that again. Ugh. Here we go. This is the most peaceful and quiet city I think I've ever been in. Everybody seems very friendly, and everybody seemed to be totally chill. River Chaudière, like cold river, that's what it means. going down some crazy bike path. I don't know if this is something industrial or a big decoration. I'm not sure. Interesting. This is rando heaven. Look at this. I'm in at 12:34. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a pretty early day. Look at this amazing room. Who wouldn't want to stay here? Tell you what, it is perfect for me right now. Good night. Good night. A Big John sandwich. No fancy breakfast here. About 5 o'clock. I think I got about 20 hours left. Maybe a little more. This should be done in plenty of time. I had 2 hot showers today. Yeah, it was today. I'm waiting for those sandwiches to kick in here. Feel like my legs are a little wooden. Just gotta soft pedal it for a while. Try to enjoy the morning. Enjoy this last day. Oh. Come on, legs, wake up. So I'm coming up on Nicolette here. And in theory, we just should have made it out here sometime last night. He's staying in a hotel in Nicolette. Unless plans have changed, maybe I'll meet up with him. Maybe he's sleeping in. I don't know. So today, it's really sort of the new round. Kind of why, I guess the reason to do this long ride. Thinking about doing a ride like PBP. You see, like, well, what the heck do you feel like after 2 days, which is the most I've, done on a brevet, a 600K. Right, so I've done more than a 600 so far, and I'm doing the rest of the 1,000 today, so not quite 300. That's not true, a little more than 300. This is where my foggy brain probably like 200 miles, something like that, right? What does that feel like? Right now, I'm just like wiped. I just kind of, lack of sleep is not my friend. Hopefully that'll fade once I find some coffee. And this, I think maybe I ate too much this morning, but I was worried yesterday I didn't have a breakfast before I headed out. It was not until couple hours in that I got something to eat, so I was like, I don't want to repeat that. So I ate a couple sandwiches. That might be just kind of weighing me down at this point, but until they digest. I'm just kind of dragging. Kind of works against you in the short term, that kind of food, but works for you in the long term. So here's hoping it kicks in soon. Last night after that industrial plant with all the lights, let's go down that bike path, and this headlight kind of is neat in that it keeps the light down on the ground. That's its kind of claim to fame. Kind of points down so it doesn't shine in driver's eyes. That kind of means it doesn't cast a beam too awfully far in front. And I was flying along, feeling my Wheaties, and there was a blue heron standing in the middle of the bike path. I was like, ah, surprised to see it. Slammed on my brakes, which squealed like crazy, and the heron took off. Just, you know, it's a big bird. What a scene in the night. In Pierreville. Looks like I'm about 710 kilometers. Rivière Saint Francois. Same river. This is the Yamaska River. Rivière Yamaska. Another bike trail. Good to be off the highway. It was pretty loud. Alright. So candidly, I have to say I feel pretty tired. This is not a difficult 1,000, but, and I'll finish this. I know I'll finish this route, but you know, it gives you a pause. Like is this what I want to do with my time? I do. I want to train up and get better at this, but man, it's easy to second guess yourself in the midst of it. Alright, I'm in Sorel, approaching the ferry here. Pretty close. It's right over there. Didn't exactly time this in any special way. I'm just kind of putzing along the best I can. I don't know how long I'll have to wait here.
Control Sorel Ferry, place Sorel.
Here we go. Pretty seriously tired. It's like 9 in the morning. I feel like I can't really imagine riding for another 15 hours without sleep. Totally wiped. This is gonna, I don't know what kind of drugs I can take to get myself going again. I guess I made okay time though. I didn't feel like I was, but I made the ferry about perfectly. That was just a matter of luck, I think. I'm to the north side of the river again. Stopped at this little snack shack and had some hot dogs and poutine. Rested for a bit. I've had a little bit of a lay down also. Anything I can do to kind of keep moving here. Back on the road. Oh, just walking a hill here. Not a particularly difficult hill, but I'm just feeling it in my calf and hamstrings because they're getting overused a bit here. So I'm going to take it easy on them, walk when I need to, stretch them out a little bit, and you know, on the flats and stuff I'm doing all right. Just not a whole heck of a lot of strong climbing left in my legs. The flats are rough because you're just spinning all day long. There's no there's no break. So a flat 200. So a flat brevet, well, you think like, oh, piece of cake. It's not necessarily the case. And this is nice conditions too. It's a little warm today, but really can't complain. It's really kind of foreboding as to what it would be like to do a 12 with hills. I don't know. It would be better or worse. You'd think worse, but I don't know. Maybe not. It's kind of pathetic spinning in the granny gear up this little hill. At least it doesn't seem that big. I mean, I'm tempted to say I feel wimpy here, but you know, 830 kilometers later, I don't know. What's wimpy at that point? Good times. I felt it. I think I hit a rock. Something went pow. Not exactly a beautiful place to get a flat. All this traffic. Near Blainesville. It's a commuter hour. Right on the edge of a patch. Right there, right at the edge of the patch. Well, I'm not going to fix that. I think the patch just blew. Let's see. Whoop, whoop. It goes right there. I don't see a thing. There's a hole. Holy shit. Huh. There's a hole in the tire. It's weird that that happened in the exact same spot as where that patch was. Very weird. There you go. New tube. It's a pretty good slit in there. A little bit of vulcanizing compound on it. I don't know, that's probably not a great solution, but I also got a tight a dollar bill in there, new tube. Hopefully it'll hold. Had I mentioned I'm thinking about moving to marathon tires, or a thicker tread tire? This is why. Well, I had to go back and get my glasses. I left them on the ground where I changed the flat. What a dummy. Be organized when throwing all your junk on the ground in the middle of a hayfield to change a flat. Oops. Ottawa power plant. About 100k to go, a little more. Flat on kind of a busy road during rush hour. I mean, it wasn't city streets, but it was, people were zinging along about 55 miles an hour, and I didn't feel that comfortable. When I changed the tire, when I changed the tube, I checked the pressure and I was like, yeah, that's okay. I put it back in the frame, put the wheel in the frame, and then I started riding it. I was like, needs a little more pressure. I didn't have a gauge, right? So I decided I'd put the bike on the kickstand, and I pumped it up while it's standing on the kickstand. So I'm pumping, the bike's going bunk, 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 and I fell over. And I broke the stem of the tube. I was like, nuts. Well, this isn't gonna work. I'm just gonna get another flat in 10 seconds, right? Well, let me get off this busy road, and then I'll change. So I started riding it, just holding the air. I was like, you know what? Why don't I ride it and see how it goes? If it holds there, it holds there. If it doesn't, I'll change it. Well, I'm almost at the next control. No issues yet. So, was that a good idea? I don't know. That little, screwing that little press the valve down, I don't think that holds the air in. It's a little spring, right? Spring pops up, just like a Schrader valve, or similar to a Schrader valve. It holds the air in. So, I'm gonna ride this thing. Hopefully I don't get another flat as a result of that. What do you think of that? Well, I definitely have a strain on my Achilles and my hamstrings. Definitely a strain. If I stand up on the pedals, wowie. I'm not looking forward to the last segment, because there's a climb up there. We had a nice descent down to the river. I think we have to go back up that. One last zinger here. That's gonna stink. I might do some walking. Other than that, I'm kind of doing all right. You know, 20 kilometers an hour, 22. So Okay, we're gonna finish this in plenty of time. That's it. There's the last control. Now, the last bit, some climbing. Away from the river, going south. Then a little bit to the west to Ottawa. Quarter mile from done. What flights of fancy go through a route creator's mind as they like draw these loop-de-loops and squiggly lines through their towns? I have no idea. One can only imagine there's an important story to be told, and a rationale behind that very circuitous route to the end.
Control finish Hornets Nest Place Ottawa.
Hear that? That's 1,000K. Actually, it's 1,000 and a whole lot more because I was all over the place. We are done. I see Regis up here. He had his Wheaties and got here before me. He got everywhere before me because he's pretty quick. Look at this. Look at this fanfare. What a crowd.
Route complete.
Well, we signed each other's. We'll take pictures. We'll send them to the RBA. That's 1,000-kilometer brevet. Here in Ottawa. Off to the bed. V8 and a bed. They're carrying a V8 around for 50 miles so that I could drink it. But I wish I could have offered Regis a room in this Airbnb, but it's not mine to offer. But he's beat too. He has to ride like 20 kilometers to his hotel. Yikes.